Hey everybody, it's time again to open up the Google form and take a good look at some of your questions from the community. Let's see what we got today. Now, I'm recording this episode because I am in the middle of editing another video that has just been taking me way too long to complete, and I wasn't really satisfied with how it was going, so I said, you know what, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to kind of remove myself from it for a moment and record an IYS episode, because these are typically a little bit easier to make. All I really got to do is sit down, turn on Audacity, and record some gameplay, make a thumbnail, and throw it up on the channel. Although you'll probably see the other video first. I think that's how I plan on doing this time around. That being said, I also wanted to mention that we were requested by somebody within the community to play Power Washing Simulator. So that's the gameplay footage that you're going to see over this video, which you're already looking at it, so I don't even know I'm bothering telling you. But the reason why I'm bothering telling you is that you can also mention a game suggestion with your question. The only rule is you have to ask a question and also mention a game. Don't just submit a game suggestion. I don't want that. That sounds incredibly boring and also would flood the inbox way too much. That being said, today we actually are going to be answering two questions because we're a little backed up with questions, and these were two relatively short ones, so I don't know how long this episode's going to be. Maybe it'll be the shortest one we ever make, maybe it'll be the longest one we ever make, but sit down, relax, grab yourself a nice, refreshing beverage, maybe of the non-alcoholic variety, if it's a little earlier in the day for you, or maybe one if it is later on in the day for you. Drink responsibly, and also if you're of age. That being said, the first question that we have is, hey Trip, I feel like I'm stuck in my profession with no way out. Is there anything you do to help you feel less stuck while you work on opening up a new path? Oh man, I understand the idea of feeling stuck in a profession. That's how I felt when I was in my senior year of college specifically, because I went to college for writing. And while I do see myself returning to writing eventually, recently I've really put all my eggs in one basket in terms of streaming and content creation. I haven't really sat down and wrote something out in a long time, but I noticed in my senior year of college that like where I was heading and the career trajectory of usually what it is when you're a writing major, and that's typically becoming a writing editor for a publication. You're typically just editing other people's work, and it just wasn't really something I saw myself being satisfied doing. Sure, it's a paycheck, but what's a paycheck if you're not happy doing it, if it's not fulfilling for you? That being said, no hate to any of the writing editors that I know out there that work for different publications. You do a great job. It is a good job, and it is, it's very steady work if you're a writer. That being said, though, recently I've put all my eggs into the basket of streaming content creation because in my senior year of college, I noticed where I was going, and I knew that I was so much more than just being a writer. And I'm going to get into that. That's a key point here to what I'm trying to make. Instead I did see myself doing so much more than just working for a publication or becoming an author and writing books, which is something I actually still do want to do one day. I do still want to write a book. That's why I think if there's anything you should really do to avoid getting stuck in a profession is to just be more than just that profession. Take up hobbies and get really good at them. And, who knows, maybe you'll find your way out. And I'm at least trying to do that myself right now. So I'm on my own path here. So the second part of your question is there really anything you do to help you feel less stuck while you work on opening up a new path? And the answer to that is I take up an entirely different hobby. Obviously, writing and content creation kind of do go a little bit hand in hand, but you also need to know how to be a presence and be on camera and be vocal, which is actually kind of part of our second question that we have here. So hold on to these thoughts. These two kind of work in tandem, and I didn't even really notice it until now. So what I'm trying to say is, based on your question, it sounds to me like you're either maybe you never went to college, maybe you're in college, whatever it is, you feel like you're stuck somewhere because of choices that you previously made. And the honest truth is you still have time to change things. You can still pick up doing other things on the side. There are plenty of people a lot of YouTubers specifically, who went to college for like more professional things like engineers and whatnot, who took up YouTube as a little side hustle, side gig. I don't really like calling it that. I guess it's more of just like a hobby. And then it ends up becoming their full-time job. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's what happened to Markiplier. He went to college for, what was it, engineering? I might be getting that wrong. So maybe I know I'm not making that up. I'm basing that off of something that I remember him saying. I think it was engineering is what he went for. And look at him now. He's a YouTuber full-time. I don't even know if he's ever touched engineering since then. Maybe he has. I don't know. But what I'm saying is you really never know. You feel stuck is what I'm trying to say. But you have ways out of it. And I know some people who've gone to college. I'm going to kind of reference college a lot here because I think college is where people feel like they get stuck in one career path. But it's really just not the truth. You know what I mean? It's like, I know people who went to college for one thing and then their full-time job becomes something entirely different that doesn't even have to do with their degree. And while I'm not saying that that's the best situation to be in, I mean, at least you want to get some use out of that degree, you know? It does happen and you're not stuck, but you feel stuck. And I get that. I felt stuck in my senior year. And that's honestly why I took up streaming in my senior year of college, was because I was like, oh my God, I'm getting towards the end of this where I am going to have to like really put my degree to work. And I still do use my degree to some extent. I have edited stuff. I have like proofread stuff for people. I've written stuff for people too. I still do use it, but I kind of spread myself out a little bit more is what I'm trying to say. And that's what I think you should do, is find something else and let it grow, you know? That's my best piece of advice there. To sort of culminate what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, you feel like you're stuck in a profession with no way out. And the answer is you're not stuck in a profession with no way out. It feels like that. I felt like that before in my life. And I want to say I've never felt less like that in my life ever since I started streaming and creating content. I feel a lot more like I'm able to I feel like I'm able to do more now. I feel like I'm not stuck and I'm in kind of a weird transitional space myself right now where it's like, well, where is any of this going to go? Who knows? But I'm still going to do it, you know? So to me, it sounds like you need to get a little more curious. Try out new things. And like I said, get really good at them. Find ways to improve at other things, because it seems like if you're stuck in this profession, it seems like it's something you're good at, but it's not fulfilling you. So that's the best way to work on opening up a new path. And that's what I did, like I said, with streaming all those years ago, which is like 2 years ago. I don't know why I'm saying all those years ago. It was about 2 years ago, actually. We're coming up on the anniversary of when I had my mental crisis in college and was like, oh my God, I'm going to graduate and I got to be out in the real world and do this and that. And look where I am now. Hopefully I was able to answer your question and not just give you a bunch of nothing burger answers. I hope. Either way, this second question, which, as we mentioned in the previous one, I talked a little bit about working on my on-camera presence and working on being, working on not hating my voice so much, because this actual next question is, how can I become a streamer if I'm scared to share my voice? Right to the point, just one sentence long. I think this is our shortest question yet, but in terms of at least letter count, but the honest truth is nobody likes the sound of their own voice. So this feeling is incredibly common. I remember back when I was in college, specifically in my senior year of college, I was taking a lot of recording classes and stuff like that, like media production and stuff like that. And I remember the biggest feeling in the room was the embarrassment people felt when they had to listen to themselves talk in order to edit their own recording or watch themselves on camera. And it's a very common, everybody feels it. I feel it still somewhat to this day whenever I'm editing my own videos. That's why it takes so long for these to come out, because I'm just like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Why would I do this? But the honest truth is that if you want to be a streamer that fits into the more typical engaging with the audience type of streamer, like kind of what I do, where I'm loud, I'm boisterous, and I wasn't always like that, but it took time for me to get to that place. But if you want to do that, it's just something you're going to have to get over. I hated my voice when I was younger. I remember a point in middle school one time where at the end of the year, this is kind of dumb. At the end of the year, my 8th grade teachers, showed a video that they recorded of us in secret while we were working on a fun project during the holidays, and they showed it to us at the end of the year, and it was kind of like a year in review kind of thing. And I remember everybody just being so embarrassed by the sound of their own voice and their like on-camera presence and whatnot. It's such a common thing, and it persists a lot throughout your life. I don't think anybody likes the sound of their own voice. Even I don't. And I have people tell me I have a nice voice for radio, and I also have a face for radio too. I guess the tough answer here is that it's just something you're gonna have to get over if you want to do what I do as a streamer. Now, I'm gonna kind of circle back here to what I just said right there with what I do, with what I do. It's something you're not gonna get over immediately. You're gonna have to learn to slowly get over it if you want to do, like I said, what I do. And it's just gonna take time. I've noticed that like I kind of just care less about how I sound. I still care to some extent. I don't like watching my own videos. I don't like hearing my own voice or watching my own clips. But it's something that I want to do, and I force myself to do it. And slowly I've kind of just learned to not care anymore, because I've learned that everybody just hates the sound of their own voice. It's not specific to just you. But if you're finding that that's not working for you, and you're listening to your own recordings, you're listening to yourself talk, you're watching yourself on camera, whatever it is, there are niches for everything. Perhaps an entirely silent streamer is a niche that is yet to be filled, and maybe it already has been filled, but typically streamers need to be engaging with their audience to some capacity. I remember Ted Nivison used to do silent Minecraft streams where he wouldn't talk because I guess it was like his college roommate or something like that. He didn't want to wake him up. But even then, people watched it. It was almost like kind of like a relaxing, therapeutic, maybe kind of an ASMR thing. It's just something to put on in the background. I personally don't get it myself. But what I'm saying is there was still an audience for it. Also, I feel like I constantly see silent streamers on TikTok. Like, I feel like I see 100 of them a day. So like I said, there is a niche for everything. I guess just finding your niche and whatever just feels like it works for you. Maybe you can't get over the sound of your own voice, but I think if you give it some work, I really do think you will eventually get over it. If you found that it just isn't working at all and it's hindering your ability to be a streamer, find your niche as a streamer. Find what works for you and again, just run with it. Maybe silent gameplay streams is like a niche that has yet to be filled. Maybe people just want to watch just silent gameplay with no talking. But typically speaking, people watch streamers because they're engaging with their audience. And I remember when I first started streaming, I didn't record any of my streams. I didn't post clips. I didn't post VODs. I didn't post edits, nothing, because I was still very insecure in my own voice. And also my on-camera presence. It was more of an on-camera thing for me personally. But I found myself getting over it by just doing it more. It's almost like getting reps in at the gym. I say this as somebody who just got home from the gym, so I'm all gym-pilled right now. I think based on your question, and maybe I'm assuming here, it seems like you're relatively new, or maybe you haven't even tried to become a streamer yet, and it's something that you plan on doing. So I guess I'm just trying to let you know that everybody feels this feeling, and it's not a good feeling. I agree. Like, not liking the sound of your own voice, it's terrible. I still kind of need to get over it myself a little bit. But if you work on it, I believe in you. I think you can do it. Because I remember when I first started college, again, I'm circling back to college, I got involved with my college's radio station, and doing that got me a lot more confidence in my own voice. And it took time. My first ever radio show, I was just so afraid to be on mics and talk into the mic that eventually I just kind of got over it, though. As time went on, as I did more and more of my radio show, I was just like, oh, whatever. Nobody's called in to my radio show and told me to shut up. And then, in fact, I got a lot of nice compliments over time. People saying, oh, I've been listening ever since then, and you've gotten so much better. What I'm saying is you'll get better at it with time. And if you find that you're not, and it's something that still you're really insecure about, there's a niche for everything, and find your niche and fill it. All right. I hope I was able to answer these questions to the best of my ability. I'm a little scrambled in the head right now. I was just got home from the gym. I'm kind of exhausted, but I wanted to record an IYS episode and then get back to editing this other video, which is just taking forever to do. That being said, if you'd like to submit a question, we need more questions actually for the show. In fact, we're kind of running just a little bit dry at the moment on questions. So like I said, the Google form will be down below in the description. And also you can recommend a game for gameplay over the video as well. So, but please do submit a question and not just a game suggestion. Give me both. that being said, this has been IYS. I've been Trip Shoes. I will always be him, I guess. And have a good night, morning, day, whenever you're listening to this. I want to know, actually. Include what time of day you listen to it. Why not? All right. Bye. See you guys.